Hi, I'm Allison from HealthNetNation.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make something called Farinata. And it's actually a chickpea flour-based flatbread that is from Italy. It is delicious, savory, and completely allergen and diet friendly. For those of you who are doing the slow-carb diet, 4-hour body, vegetarian, vegan, this is the recipe for you. You're going to love it. Come on, let's go make it. Now the base of this dish is garbanzo bean flour. It's also known as chickpea flour. Depends on what part of the country you're in, but they're the same thing. Garbanzo beans are one of the beans that are the highest in protein. And also you can see that the texture is really, really fine. So for those of us who are grain-free and use mostly coconut flour and almond flour, garbanzo bean flour is a wonderful alternative. First, we'll start with 1.5 cups of garbanzo bean flour, 2 cups warm water, 1/2 tablespoon of kosher salt, about 1 teaspoon of finely chopped rosemary, and 1/4 cup high heat oil of any kind. I prefer sunflower oil. You're going to add your warm water to a bowl and whisk in your garbanzo bean flour a little bit at a time. Just until it's smooth. Now you're going to let this sit for 2 hours on the counter. You do not need to refrigerate this. And one of the great things about doing this is that it's helping to pre-digest or remove some of the phytic acid from the beans. So if you have trouble digesting beans, this is really going to help. Now after this sits for 2 hours, if it still has some of the foam on top, then you're going to skim that foam off, because that's the gas that causes digestive distress. Okay, that's it. We'll cover it up, let it sit on the counter for 2 hours. So after your garbanzo bean flour and water is sat for 2 hours, and you've skimmed off any foam on the top, you just whisk it again a little bit, because the water separates a bit from the flour. You'll see that it's very, very smooth. It's not lumpy at all. And to this mixture, you're going to add your 1/4 cup of your high heat oil, because this is going to go in a 500-degree oven. So if you use olive oil, you're just going to ruin that oil. It's going to smoke, and it's not going to be a healthy oil for you anymore. Then we're going to add our rosemary. This just adds such a lovely aromatic flavor to this dish. It's really not the same without it. And then your 1/2 tablespoon of kosher salt. Make sure you use kosher salt. If you use table salt, it will be too salty. So first, we need to preheat our oven to 500 degrees. Now you do need a cast iron pan, and mine's about a 9 to 10 inch. You can use 12 inch. You can make whatever you have work. But make sure that you put your cast iron pan in the oven while it is preheating. You don't want to put this into a 500-degree oven. It can damage your pan. All right, our oven has preheated to 500 degrees, and so it's time to add our oil and farinata. So you're going to add about 2 tablespoons of oil. Like I said, you need a really high heat oil, like the safflower oil, or sunflower oil, excuse me. And then you're going to watch this so it doesn't splatter on you as you pour in your farinata. It really does need this much oil to cook well. So I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes. It usually takes between 20 and 25 minutes, but but you want it to be really crispy and golden brown around the edges and quite set in the middle. All right, our farinata is done. You can see that it is pulled away from the edges and nice and golden brown on top and very much set. It's not jiggly at all. All right, our farinata is done and looking beautiful. Now this is something that you eat fresh. Actually, in Italy, they put up signs in the bake shop saying when the farinata is going to be done, and people stand in line and get slices of it just like we get a slice of pizza. So you're going to want to make sure that it's all the way taken away from the pan. Put it out. Now see, that's why you want a lot of oil, because it'll make it so that it doesn't stick. So typically this is served with fresh black pepper, and you can cut this any way you want. I like to do mine in little pizza type slices. Otherwise we all fight over the edge, which is so crispy and delicious. I'm going to finish this with some fresh ground pepper, and it's ready to serve. I hope that you've enjoyed learning how to make farinata and learning a little bit more about garbanzo bean flour. Time to eat. To your health. Oh, it's perfect.